Cox.
Present.
Alan Minford.
Here.
And Alan.
Yep.
Rob Jackson is absent. Lee Senagarty.
Present.
Randy.
Here.
And Gary.
Here.
Let's see, so consent agenda, approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes, approval of the bills. We'll do the building permits and that separately. So this is the approval of the agenda, approval of the minutes from 7:14 and 7:28, and then approval of the bills. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
What we do, what was fixed on his truck?
What's that?
What was fixed on Rob's truck?
And which truck?
On Paris, me.
Or Perry's truck.
Yeah, it was the fuse box. It was,
Did they get struck by lightning?
they don't know if it got struck by lightning or it was a combination of lightning being close, EMF, and
Okay.
rain. So anyway, it was fried, so they changed that out. All right, so I have a motion to accept the consent agenda.
So moved.
I have a motion to accept, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the consent agenda. Next item up are building permits. I think everybody's had a chance to read them. One is from Larry and Jenny Frederickson over on 707 Arthur Street. They're gonna put a deck on. Pretty straightforward and simple. Any questions on that? Motion to accept.
I move to accept.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve that one. I don't know if they're here or not. I don't know them. All right, the second one is the UBI building. Across the street, they're putting in a green space and not a gazebo, a pergola, and some plants and trees and so on and so forth. So, any questions on that one? Pretty straightforward, so I have a motion to accept.
I move to approve it.
What's that?
I move to approve it.
Second.
I have a motion to approve, motion to second, all in favor?
Aye.
No animal permits. Treasurer's report, Dee?
Yeah, for the month of June, I followed the bank reconciliation, everything appears to be correct. CD report, looked that over, there were 3 funds that earned interest, and they're listed there for you. Reviewed the transactions and the account, for accounts payable for the dates listed. Went over the time sheets for the 2 dates of payroll. And I reviewed the general ledger entries for the month.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Dee? I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any questions? None? All in favor?
Aye.
City clerk's comments.
We had one come in today, about a dog, another dog that was loose and it's been killing the neighbor's cats.
Okay.
They found the second one dead today, this morning.
Valerie lives over here on.
Just south of me.
Okay. Right, we're gonna talk. It's a citizen's complaint from Valerie White, and apparently the complaint is for Jessica Jones' dog on 107 Grant. The dog was entered my mother's yard on 2 occasions and attacked and killed 2 of my mother's cats. Unacceptable.
That's it.
That's it? I know,
So, can I ask, so what do we do? that came to the
All I can do is
council?
go talk to them. I don't have any proof. I mean, I believe that everything she said is true. I don't have any power, I'm not empowered to take any animal.
So
What
it's
about
come
the
under-
sheriff's department?
What's that?
What about the sheriff's department?
Part of the 2080 agreement is they will not deal with nuisances, they will not deal with animals.
So when a dog bites a kid, is that still a nuisance or is that something they'll deal with?
They won't deal with it, they've already said.
When a
they
dog
won't
bites a person, they won't deal with it?
They won't deal with it, it's the city's responsibility, they said.
Take care of it.
So,
And this lady did call the sheriff's office too to report it today, just to have it logged. This one too.
and we're gonna cover that in a little bit here, so I'll
So
let that. What's that?
you're telling me that's what we signed to agree with?
Same as last time. We weren't able to
If
change that.
somebody gets bit in town by a dog, they aren't gonna do
They didn't
nothing.
handle the animal stuff before.
Yeah, we never had animals.
So it's then well within my rights if this happens on my property, I'm gonna blow that dog to.
State law says you can.
Okay. I just can't believe we're just letting that crap fly.
I can't either, but I mean, it's the same as we had previously. It's other towns, when they get into these small agreements with the sheriff's departments, the sheriffs don't have the money to have dog
It's-
catchers and stuff.
It's really not an agreement of what they have the money to do with what's morally right.
Right, I get that. But their excuse though is they don't have animal control division, so.
We had, I should say we, Fonda had a dog attack, 2 dogs attacked multiple people down there. Sheriff's Department, as part of their arrangements with the 2080 agreement, would not do anything about it, they left it back to the city. The city had to go to the court to get a court order to have the dog removed. I talked to our attorney in this most recent case, and he basically said, unless you have proof to sway the judge, that he will give an order to seize and remove the dogs, you're not gonna get it. You can't do anything. So, we have to wait till it plays out in court, and then we'll go from there.
That doesn't leave us open for a lawsuit as a city.
Not for us,
I would think it'd be the animal owner.
Again, it gets into a whole lot of areas that's way beyond our scope, and this is where attorneys have all the expertise, they've been through the schools and training, and they know how to deal with this stuff. Okay, we had city clerk's comments, anything else? All right, council's comments, Lana, you got anything?
No, this time.
Aaron, you got anything?
Not this time.
Dan?
Nope.
Al?
No.
Alright. Mayor's comments, I have, done some homework on the 2080 agreements, we need to look at getting a backup 28E for our gas service. I have called Black Hills to talk to them about what the process is and how to go about it from them. I've also talked to Gilmore City. Gilmore City agrees to help us out while we're down one utility person with certain work, but we're gonna need to do a formal agreement with them at some point. And as soon as I hear from Black Hills and the IAMU gas guy, who's supposed to be here in a couple of weeks, exactly what we should be putting into this agreement, and we'll be able to write anything. But at least I'm trying to do my homework, so I hope the council will give me the latitude to go ahead and do the homework on this thing. Obviously, I'm not gonna sign any agreements without your approval. But we can go down that road. I called, we talked about it at the park and rec meeting. I called Cooper Flooring in Pokey to see about doing something with the men's room floor underneath the sink and urinal area. The floor won't stay down. We've got plenty of replacement stuff, and he was going to give me estimates on using our replacement tile to repair all that. and also to look at maybe possibly a new sheet vinyl floor in there. It's gonna give me a couple different costs. I haven't heard back on it yet, so that's in the works. Elections are coming up. I think you probably saw something in the newspaper, Pokey paper, about the filing requirements and so on, the deadlines. So there's gonna be, I would imagine, a few people that are going to be signing up. We have the mayor is up for election this time, and 3 council members. So that's all upcoming. Sewer connections. We have a number of people in town who have their sump pumps running in the street, and that's really against ordinance. I understand that the issue with some of these folks is they have older homes and they would have to do some significant replumbing to make it work, but we need to look at that. We also have a number of places where the sump pump drains into the city water system, not the water system, the wastewater system, and the sewer system, and we can't have that. Some towns are now, they've got programs to go and inspect properties. We're not gonna go down that road quite yet. But people need to understand, they cannot just run their sump pump into the wastewater, and they can't run it into the street. So it's a danger out there on the street. There's a couple areas where there's constantly water and constantly algae backup, and of course that makes for slick spots, and especially for motorcycle riders. So anyway, so people need to be aware of that. A couple of towns have developed, and this particular one is from the city of Newton, but an inflow and infiltration program, and basically advising people what they can do, what they can't do, and a little bit about how to go about it. So we'll be looking at that down the road. Last thing is, that I have is, everybody is aware we got a bond to take out the ash trees. The cost of the winning bid was significantly less than what we had borrowed money for. So in talking with our bond attorney, it is possible to repurpose some of those funds, but we have to go through basically the whole bond process again, do a public hearing, answer the questions, prove that we're putting it towards something else that the money would fit that program. The rough amount that we're looking at, if we do, this will be up to the council to repurpose, would be about $50,000. We have the alternatives of paying off the loan earlier, repurposing the money for such as putting it towards a new fire truck. There's other things that we can do with that money. We can hold on to it and just collect the interest and make a little money that way too. The thing we're gonna have to look at is, if we decide to repurpose, are we going to wait until the work is done to make sure that we have enough coverage in case something goes wrong, and this contractor backs out of the work, and then we have to find another contractor, and their bid will probably come in a little bit higher. So we gotta think about that, or, what do we do, how do we do it? And so that's gonna be up to the council, but that's something that's on the horizon, that we'll have to deal with. Let's see. I think that is everything I got. Utility reports. Terry, what do you got? Okay. Complaint forms. everyone,
Yeah.
we've already dealt with that. Citizen request to be on the agenda, so we have one person, Jen Allen. So Jen is here. If you would stand up and come up to the table and speak to the council, would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, well, no, that's fine.
You're fine. Thank you.
I am simply just here to speak for my little boy, who was recently attacked on July 12th. This wasn't just a bite, this wasn't being playful, he was mauled, and he almost died. You guys have a city ordinance for a reason. I have, the dogs were not licensed through the city, so that's highlighted in the ordinance. And then there are a couple other spots highlighted, the definition of vicious and what vicious means and whatever. Why have an ordinance if you're not gonna, push it? I mean, this was an accident, it happens. But what if it happens again? And then again, and again. I have a little boy who's traumatized and is having to go to therapy at 5 years old. Recently was told that there's a rock down the road from me who about snapped a leash for people walking down the road. Not okay. My little boy plays outside. He can't even play outside because there's literally dogs everywhere. And that's not, I'm not blaming you guys. I'm not here to argue, I'm just simply speaking out for my 5-year-old. You have an ordinance, we need to push it. So, that's all I gotta say.
Is there any questions for Jenna? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, no one unfinished business? New business, ambulance update, Shelley.
Alright, I have my end of the year report that was, filed with our county. Whoops, sorry. And now that we have to file these with the county, I will try each year to also, present it to you guys. If you take a look at it, the total number of 911 calls for the Rolfe ambulance were 54 this year. We responded 44 of those times, which is 81%. 10 times we were unavailable or had no one in town. We transported 17 patients last year, 15 to Pocahontas Hospital, 1 to Palo Alto, and 1 to Humboldt. We had some non-transports, so even though we only transported 15, because we also have non-transports, 10 of our calls were fire calls, 8 of them were refusals, and a refusal can be such as like an inadvertent lifeline, and they're like, no, I don't need help. And anytime anybody, we're called to somewhere and they don't need our help, we have a refusal form that they do sign. 7 times we called for Pocahontas to transport. And those could be cases, especially like trauma cases, where we don't want to move the patient until they have painkiller or some advanced care. Let's say a broken hip. If we can get a painkiller in them before we move them, then it's so much easier on the patient. We had 1 DOA and 1 canceled prior to even leaving the shed. So Pocahontas transported those 7 patients. We called for paramedics to assist us while we were transporting twice. We called them on a DOA once. EMT cannot pronounce someone deceased. We have to call for a paramedic level to do that.
And then Pokey's average response time to Rolfe to a patient is 20.7 minutes. Rolfe's average time from page to going en route is 5.3 minutes. That includes daytime and nighttime combined. From the page to arriving on scene, we're 9.4 minutes. We're on scene an average of 20.1 minutes. And one of the things we were monitoring in the county this year was if how long we were on call on just trauma calls. And we wanted to keep that under 15 minutes. So when Rolfe only transported those, it was 14.25, and when we were waiting for Pocahontas to come over for a trauma patient and deliver advanced care, then it was 38.25 on scene. So that was a healthy discussion between our ambulance personnel countywide and with our medical director. Dr. Schussel continues to be our county medical director for ambulances, and we do pay him through essential service funds. I want to talk to you just a second about essential service. I don't know, Al's had some questions for me recently. We passed that tax base of essential services. Rolfe receives $15,000 a year from that tax monies, which that has been a gift to us and a big help to our budgets as medical devices and equipment has increased tenfold in the last 5 years. In March of 26, our county will receive a new ambulance, cot system, monitor, and Lucas device. So Lucas is a CPR device. That will go to Pocahontas. Pocahontas's ambulance, which is their oldest one, 200. At this time, we're aiming it to go to Fonda. Fonda's got the oldest in the fleet and has been having the most problems with theirs. And so they will then also receive an ambulance, a cot system, a monitor, and a Lucas. Now, we have those. They have a cot system, they have a Lucas, they have a monitor. So should what be passes to us, at this time, our goal is that would still become Fonda's if they choose to sell that or to use it on trade-in, then they can do that. The ambulance though, once we receive an ambulance, those are county property, okay? They're essential service property. So our ambulance that we received from Pocahontas as a gift, when we sell that, that money will go back to Pocahontas because that was our agreement with them when they gifted us that. So then in March of 29, Rolfe will receive an ambulance, a cot system, a monitor, and Lucas. Right now, both Fonda's and Rolfe's cot systems are newer than what we would receive, so we'll be keeping or transferring those into our ambulances, the ones we currently have. The question that we're really going round and round with right now is whether we should, when we get the monitor, should we take the monitor out of ours and use it for a trade-in towards the new one coming in? And that has been, we've been back and forth on that. I would really tell you that we really have not made a decision on it because I see it both ways. One day I'm one way, one day I'm the next. You'll know that I'm pretty tight with funds, so I really don't know which way that's going to end up going. We've got obviously till March to continue to argue about it. So anyway, but we have through county funds this year received a portable suction, an elk lifter, which is a device that when someone's on the floor, we can slide it under them. We put them in a somewhat setting position and it pumps up like airbags and pumps them up to sitting height so that we're able to get them up off the ground and move them. It's quite a nice device. And we also just got a TV communication system. So when we're in the fire station, through the TV, we can join any conference online. We can also join any trainings going on in the county online, and then we can also get credit for those. So those are the things that we have received just since the beginning of essential service, which actually last December. So we just got the first full year of funds because after we passed it, it took almost a whole year before the tax base started coming in. We are pretty lucky, the way we set up our system, anything we don't use rolls over into the next year in that tax, those tax monies. And we know that needs to be necessary because right now a new ambulance is about $280,000, which is what we budgeted. But we know in 3 years after that, it's probably gonna, we know that's gonna be, probably even a lot more. So anyway, I will say that passing the essential service has been a godsend for our small communities, and to Pocahontas, you know, because they are able to receive, you know, and why do we bring into them first is because they have the most mileage and the most usage of it, so. Any questions on my end of the year report or on essential services?
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Next item up to discuss the city tree pile. As you know, we've taken the trees down. We're gonna be, as we're taking the ash trees down, those are all being hauled away. We just don't have the room to stockpile trees. A lot of towns now are rethinking when they remove trees. Basically, because of the spaces, because of the amount of trees that are dying or need to be dealt with. Some have decided that if the contractor takes down a tree, the contractor needs to deal with it. And that falls back on the person who hired the contractor, will probably end up having to pay a little bit more to dispose of trees. It's not an easy thing because if we pay somebody to dispose trees down here, we've got to deal with them at some level. And I don't know, in some people's mind, it's not fair to have everybody paying to have other people's work disposed of. If a person has the property, they have a tree that comes down, the thought pattern is, in some cases, that the have the contractor dispose of the tree at their facility or whatever, and that way we don't end up with a big pile of stuff to deal with. Last time we got a bid to grind up small pile down there was almost $14,000, and that was a smaller, way smaller pile than we had a couple of years previous that cost us in the neighborhood of $17,000. So the costs are going up, and we can't just let this stuff sit around. I mean, it's tree limbs and small sticks and garden waste is one thing we can work to. We can work to repurpose that stuff, but the big stuff is just going to accumulate. So anyway, the thought is, bringing it to the council's attention, which path do you want to go forward? Do you want to limit what we put down on the tree pile, or do you just want to continue on with the way we've been doing business?
So this is other than what we've already contracted someone
Yes.
to remove the ash trees on city property.
Yeah.
So if somebody has a tree on their private property, they would be responsible, or whoever they hire would be responsible for not, of course, only taking the tree down and paying for that, but they'd have to figure out how it's gonna be disposed, because it can no longer go to the city tree area.
Well, we're not limiting taking the stuff down there. What we're trying to do is come up with a solution going forward, how to minimize the amount of buildup we get down there. So do we change the way we do business? I mean, you look at Pokey, they do not let contractors take the trees out there to their disposal pile anymore. With just too many trees, they weren't able to process them all.
I thought we kinda already discussed this. It's just that we didn't know we made a motion. We can't have these guys, like if Sean's coming over to take a tree down, you know, the people that he's taking the tree down is gonna have to pay for it. We don't have room out there. Same way with it, like Travis made the comment to me that, he just wants to be treated fair, just like everybody else, and that's basically what we told everybody else down the road. So, unless you guys wanna discuss it more, I make a motion that, anybody that, is a contractor, they find their own place to take the trees.
You got a second on that? All right, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Right.
We'll change the policy then.
So what are we gonna do with our chipper?
Well, we can still keep it for the small stuff. I mean, it'll take anything up to 6 inches. So, we can hold on to it or we can sell it. You know, we're gonna have people that take sticks down because things fall out of the trees during storms. That type of thing. You can't, you know, I would encourage people to have their own little burn pit and burn their sticks in that, but not everybody can do that, not everybody's willing to do that, so.
I don't think we're gonna use that chipper.
Well, it's not the most,
I think
user-friendly.
I've used it. I think, I'd like to see it just be sold.
Okay, we can talk about that.
On the next one.
Oh, we gotta think about it. We're not gonna use it.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and change the policy. And rewrite that. The next item is, fill rock. Al Ripperter came and asked about getting, about 6 small dump truck loads.
Yeah.
He had talked to Al Brandoy. Brandoy thought that we had enough stuff down there that we got from the state when they were doing the highway, that we'd be able to backfill the school area with no problem. We'd have more than enough. And so based on that, Al came and asked if it'd be possible that he got about 6 truckloads of it. And I said, well, I'll have to bring it up to the council, so.
Yeah, we've had other, people stop and ask, several other people. And, my opinion is, I'd like to see that finished up there first, you know, so we don't wind up having to buy some down the road, and then if there's some left, you know, then.
The only reason I came there, Al said,
Yep.
you've taken concrete from the city, and he says, he said, I think you should ask them, I'm gonna build a building out there, and, he said, I think you should ask them, because he said, you've been more than fair with them, you've never taken any money or anything from the town for dumping their concrete. So, he said, that's the only reason I asked. That's the way he put
Well,
it.
that's just my opinion. We've had, I've had 4 other people ask me, and, appreciate taking the concrete out there, but
Because he's gonna bring some more out, he said, so. that's
what's,
all.
what this is gonna amount to, he don't know if we're gonna have enough. I just don't wanna see down the road, us hauling stuff in when we got it right there. That's just my opinion.
That's fine. That's the only reason I
There's
asked.
some holes in our alleys or what have you.
There's those things, but this is a request, so we brought it up to discuss it, see if it's possible. So I'm trying to get everybody's viewpoint.
I'd like to table it until the project's done and we see what we have left over, just so, again, similar to what Dan said, we're not ending up buying stuff down the road when we had it originally.
Al, you got any thoughts?
I thought Brandway was responsible for filling that in, not us.
It's not like he got the whole thing, he's supposed to clean up and take care of it,
Well,
just in general.
minor, well, when we,
I mean, Aaron wasn't here when this was all being discussed, but my whole thing was, he took it on. We paid for the asbestos and all that. He was gonna bury it and take care of it for a cost, like $50,000. So my question is,
it was
who's responsible for it? Is
It
it the
was-
city or is it Al Bramlett?
it was 10,000 to take the school down. And, so we're still following that because he got all the salvage rights on that.
Yeah.
We knew that there was gonna be a backfill requirement. We did not discuss that in the original agreement. So we went to the state and we got what we got up there behind the school. So,
So what is Brandway's responsibility as far as that up there goes?
he's going to backfill it and, you know, level it out, make it reasonable. We just provided material for him.
Cause I actually happen to be at the same conversation that he's talking about with Brandway. So that's all, I'm just,
Brandway made his own, deals on the side for getting rid of.
no, Brandway didn't make any deals. Brandway told him, everything Al just said is what Al Brandway said. My question was, and still is, what was responsibility as far as the cities and Al's, as far as the filling that in and tearing that down?
His job is to backfill it, but we did not talk about what the cost of fill would be. Because we weren't sure how much we were gonna need, what we were gonna do, or anything, so we really didn't get into that discussion.
I think we need to make a list of who's asking for how much. So we don't have, and this could be at, you know, up here with Brandy, where so-and-so wants so many loads. This person, there's next in line, I want so many loads. I mean, we could dent that whole pile all over this town. I mean, there's all kinds of holes. I think it'll fix our street problem, but I think there needs to be a list and like Al wants 6 loads, Dan's got people, I want 4 loads. It needs to be established and voted on,
Establish
so
that.
that way, once we get this done, that we know who's getting what instead of a crapshoot. Cause I mean, Al's not lying, Brandwood did tell me there's more than enough up there. He
No,
said,
I'm not
I'm never
saying
gonna go through the 6 loads you want. So I mean, and I'm assuming if Al Brandway's burying it, Al Brandway's got a good idea for 30-some years, 40 years, whatever, how long he's been doing it, he knows what he's got and what he's got to deal with. I'm not saying Al should get it, I'm just saying this is a coming problem that we need to take care of. Right now, we're discussing it, why wouldn't we?
Okay, so right now, it looks like what we need to do is put together a list.
Of who
Sounds
wants
like.
what?
Huh?
Of who wants
Of-
what?
yeah.
And establish a price, cause I mean, we got it for free, but we're so far in debt, it wouldn't hurt to make it all off it.
But if we get this project done, it's gonna be done, hopefully, by when, Jim?
That's a good question. Every time he gets sidetracked with other work.
Yeah.
Well, has he received any money from the city for it?
No. No, the money that he's making off of it right now is just from salvage, from steel and everything else that he's pulled up.
I'd like to see something where we're not sitting here like we are with this tree deal, where we approve the contract, and now, well, we'll get there this fall. We're not getting ahead by that, cause you know what's gonna gonna happen, it's gonna be sprinkled before they get grubbed out, and get grass laid, and, you know, we need to be, I think we need to be more, have our rears covered, rather than just leave it open-ended.
Okay,
Things
so-
like that.
What does that have to do with finishing the project?
Exactly, he hasn't finished it yet, you gotta,
What does that have to do with waiting until it's finished? I don't understand.
nothing, I'm just saying, we don't have a date. We need to start saying, like, we didn't give a date for this tree deal, and now we're waiting till this fall. We didn't give Brand Boy a date. He gets
Well,
his
these
little
guys,
one.
they can't give you a date right off the bat.
Okay, a year,
Well, it'll be done in a year.
well, he's been working on it for over a year.
Well, for right now, we need an action for this, it's on the agenda, we can either table.
I second the motion to table it for right now.
Okay, so what you're saying is that, Aaron, you made a motion, or you didn't make a
So,
motion?
no,
You just
no,
suggested.
discussion was I agree with Dan.
All right, so we don't have a motion yet, so do I have a motion, go ahead and table it till we're,
I make a motion we table it so we can get a hold of Brand Boy and kind of try to get a commitment out of him
okay,
for a period of time.
all right. We'll put a little Brand Boy. Do I have a second on that?
I'll second it. We got, but we need to get a hold of Brando and then and just tell him to knock all this other crap off and let's get going on it then.
Well,
I mean, I kinda thought he was gonna get at it the way when I talked to him the other day.
he just got called about, the water issues up on my street there, where we got, several lots that are flooded. And so they've got everything marked out now, we're waiting on the line to determine whether they're gonna do the digging or Al's gonna end up doing the digging.
You know, it sounded like he was gonna get after it.
So, anyway, for the purposes here, we're going to table this until we get an answer out of Brand Boy. I have a motion, I have a second, all in favor?
Right.
We'll have to hold on your answer, Al.
Yeah, that's fine, that's fine.
When do you plan to start construction?
3 weeks from now. So it won't do me, I mean, I'll still take some rock, but like I said, it won't do me any good. I'm gonna start construction either ways. I just, like I said, that's the only reason he was gonna bring out some of that stuff, and I said, no, I don't want, I need different rock.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so next item up, water tower inspection report. We received, package, we received an inspection from the wire iron that did the repainting and everything, work over on, we have a contract with them to maintain our water tower. And so we just got their latest report, which is from last month. Well, I'm thinking that they might have put the wrong date on
That's
this.
what they told me, talking from April. They're just now getting it out to us.
So, anyway,
So we've got that bill to pay, and then we have the final payment for the contract for all the repairs that's due. So that's why that bill is so big for McGuire. That's the final payment for him.
so anyway, everybody got a copy of that in their package. Is there any questions on that? It's holding up. Next thing up is to discuss the purchase of a John Deere Gator. We had an offer to sell us a 4x2 Gator. It's an older model. Mike Marine has it. He was going to take it over to the sale barn, and we were looking for the possibility of getting something older that we could modify into a spray unit so we could spray for weeds. Makes it a little bit easier than, we could put like a 100-gallon tank on it, a 50-gallon tank on it, which is better than the 10 or 15 gallons we've got now. We gotta make 4 trips just to do the sewer plant, or the wastewater lagoons out there. And, so we just save a little bit of time, and also, that was something we were looking at. So anyway, this particular gator, has only 330 hours on it. It does not have a cab on it, or a cover, open to the air. It does have the big tilting bed, so it could hold a larger tank. And his firm price is $4,200. He doesn't want to take anything less than that. So I'm just bringing it up to the council whether they want to go down this road, buy a used gator that's in pretty good shape, and with the intent of turning it into a spray vehicle, better than the little thing we tow behind the lawnmower. So, discussion? He looked at the market value.
Yeah, that seemed to be kind of a, yeah.
I checked into the price of that, they range anywhere from $2,500 to $4,000. They're hardly, we can't find them. I've been looking for a gator for a long time, you can't find anything out there for anything close to that.
So, any thoughts on that, or?
I haven't looked at that one, but I looked at several others. You're not gonna find anything for less than that, are they?
We wanna look at it, we wanna pass on it, and look for something else. Just need to know the path forward, so I can let you know one way or the other.
Otherwise, the need may be there, but again, money's tight. I know it's a hassle to have to make 4 trips or whatever, but, money's not growing on trees.
I think we need to keep our focus on getting the fire truck taken care of first, before we start spending money in other places.
All right, so do I have a motion then? From anybody to take action?
I'll move that we pass it this time.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, we got a resolution to collect unpaid judgments. Everybody probably knows from,
How are we gonna do it?
what's that?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're gonna read it.
Well, what it is, this is a resolution, we have to pass a resolution according to our attorney. And then we have a list of the properties, the amounts, and this includes the amount for abatement costs. And,
We're not putting on their taxes, for God's sakes, and waiting another 15 years, are we?
well, the way you do it is you take, once this is approved, you take it over to the treasurer's office. They apply it to the taxes. And
So if
the
they've got an empty lot and they're never gonna move, they're not gonna do nothing.
The abatement costs can be put towards any property that that person owns. The court costs, the unpaid civil penalty, I'm not sure if that can transfer to other properties as well, but we have to put it towards the parcel that is affected by the court judgment. So we have a total of about $21,000 here, and that's just for the civil penalties, and then in most cases, the court costs were not paid. And then there were abatement costs for some of these properties as well. So the total is up there. Letters were sent to each of these people. I've done a little more research. There are actually, some of these folks owe more money to a lot more people than just us. And, but we're gonna try and collect what we can collect here. So,
One did come in the mail today, small, but it's a start.
All right, that's good. But anyways, the process is we have to do a resolution, we have to pass a resolution, send this schedule, which is with this resolution, to the, excuse me, the county treasurer, and they put it towards the taxes. I've also got a question into our attorney about the process for putting liens against these properties as well. I have not heard back yet. So, to read this resolution. It's a resolution to implement assessment schedules for the collection of unpaid judgments and abatement actions. Whereas the Constitution of the State of Iowa and sections of the Code of Iowa empower the city of Rolfe to declare and abate nuisances on private property and to assess costs incurred by the city for the abatement actions, and whereas the city of Rolfe desires to collect all unpaid judgments and abatement actions as follows. The authority. The City Council, by authority, as described in Article 3, Section 38A of the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and in Sections 364.12, .13, .13B, .22, and 384.59. There's others also, but we just limited it to that. The Code of Iowa is empowered to declare and abate nuisances on private property and to assess costs incurred by the city for the abatement actions. Action taken, the city clerk, one, prepared and filed in the office of the clerk an assessment schedule, which is this here. It's a listing of unpaid judgments and abatement costs for the nuisance properties within the city, setting forth the description and the parcel number and the lot to be assessed, the valuation of the lot as determined by the council, and which is the cost of the judgment, and the amount to be assessed, all in accordance with the code, Iowa Code 384.59, attached here to as addendum 1. 2, notify the property owners of the amounts due and requested payment. Letters were sent out. Also under action taken, the city council, based on public record, has determined that the address, legal description, and parcel and assessed value of each of the affected properties as shown in addendum 1, and has confirmed and fixed the proper assessment as documented. Now therefore be it resolved, City Council, City of Rolfe, Iowa, does hereby confirm and levy assessments, all as provided in the assessment schedule attached as addendum 1, as fully set out herein. There is no conditional levy of the amount of the deficiencies which be made subsequently assessed against each lot number under Section 384.63 of the Code of Iowa. The assessment shall be payable upon certification to the county treasurer. The city clerk shall certify the final schedule to the county treasurer and publish a notice of the schedule once each week for 2 consecutive weeks in the manner provided in Section 362.3 of the Iowa Code, the first publication of which shall not be more than 15 days from the date of filing of the final schedule. It is authorized and directed to mail notice to the property owner on or before the date of the second publication notice as provided in Iowa Code Section 384.60, paragraph 2. The property owner shall be advised that any such assessments may be paid in full or in part without interest within 30 days after notice of the final assessment schedule. Such payment shall be made at the office of the city clerk here in Rolfe. The unpaid assessment shall be due and payable to the office of the county treasurer on the first day of September 2025 and shall become delinquent after the first day of October following the due date. Included in those instances is when the last day of September is a Saturday or Sunday, and will draw additionally the same delinquent interest as ordinary taxes. Be it further resolved, the City of Rolfe, the City of Rolfe, Iowa, City Council of the City of Rolfe, Iowa finds this resolution appropriate and necessary to protect, preserve, and improve the rights, privileges, property, peace, safety, health, welfare, comfort, and convenience of the City of Rolfe and its citizens. All is provided for and permitted under Chapter 364 of the Iowa Code. All other resolutions or parts of resolutions in conflict with this resolution are hereby repealed. If any part of this resolution is judged invalid or unconstitutional, such adjudication shall not affect the validity of the resolution or action of the City Council as a whole, or any part thereof not adjusted, invalid, or unconstitutional. This resolution shall be in full force and effect from and after the date of its approval as provided by law. That the mayor and the city clerk are hereby directed to certify this resolution of approval. So what I need to do is have a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
I need a second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. I need a roll call vote. Al?
Yep.
Dan?
Yep.
Anna?
Yes.
Aaron?
Yay.
Rob is absent. So 4 ayes, no nays, 1 absent. Motion is passed. And I'm sure there will be subsequent letters going out to the same people to keep them apprised of what their status is. All right, next item is to accept the resignation of Tony Higgins. He dropped his resignation off. His last working day, actually his last day of employment, was the 8th of August, last Friday, at 4 p.m. So we just need a formal vote to accept his resignation.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
All right. Next item up, I covered this in my comments, but want the council's permission to pursue gas coverage agreements with the city of Gilmore and also with it's not listed in here, it was left off, but Black Hills. And the reason I'm asking for Black Hills is Gilmore City has them on contract as a backup, just in case something happens. And if Gilmore is engaged in other things and can't be here, they can be the backup. So I just would like your permission to pursue the agreements, and then we'll bring them.
So you need a motion on that?
Yeah, I just need a motion to pursue, and then once the agreements are made up, then I'll bring them to you guys for approval.
Do we know what they charge for backup? Black Hill, I mean, how's that work with them?
Going from what the clerk at Gilmore City said, she had them show up on a couple different occasions, and it was like $125 a pop.
I'm sure Perry's already working on it, right?
He's gone.
Never mind.
Yeah. But keep in mind too that with one person qualified, if that person is sick and was on vacation, you have to have the backup.
I know, but right now we don't have anybody on staff.
And like I said, we're waiting, so trying to move ahead with this as quickly as possible. So do I have a motion to go ahead?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me, last item up is, last month we established a subcommittee for nuisance abatement, and I need 2 people to serve on that subcommittee. So, any volunteers?
I'll volunteer.
Okay. All right. Aaron, Lana, okay? All right. And you have. Last item up is nuisance abatement. We just received a new batch of letters from our nuisance abatement guy, and we sent all of those out. There were a couple that needed some clarification, and a couple of them that are kind of strange because the person that is listed no longer lives in the house. So we gotta find the backup, so we have to go back to the LLC that owns them and talk to them about the condition of the property. So, working on that. With that, anybody got any questions or concerns?
I didn't get put on the agenda. I was approached by a former employee for the city if any mowing could be done to help keep Perry available for perhaps more pressing.
We talked to Rick Cripps, he's our recycling person, and he has agreed to take on a few of those properties. So he and Perry went over the list of things that he and Tony did before, and I told him to work out their agreement between them two. And then Rick said that he will do it, and then he'll let us know if it becomes too much of a hassle, then we'll get somebody else.
Have we heard anything on the application?
No, none of them turned in.
At this point, we have it in Pokey paper, and I don't know where else we've got it on.
And we won't be able to put it on like these.
Yeah, I need to get the password for that, but it's on IAMU and Iowa Utilities.
What
Utility Board.
newspapers did you put in? Okay, Stormwater.
It'd be the BD Journal, the Record Democrat, and the Red Sun. I mean, so those three were all one. But the IAMU and the utilities was, that's where a lot of people chat too, so. But indeed, we'll get tomorrow.
So was there not a person from like Pocahontas County, or Pocahontas, not interested?
Well, some people say, I might be interested, but then
Yeah.
they don't bring it forward, so. And maybe they're chewing on it, and we can't decide. Anyway, with that, that's all the business, so I have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Very enthusiastic.